Hey guys, it's Di, and today I'm going to be making a small fall-inspired burlap wreath to hang up in my front gallery wall, and I thought I would go ahead and share with you how I'm going to be doing that today and also how it's going to look at the end. And I also shared in a separate video, which I'll link down below, how I start my burlap wreaths, because it's super simple, but a number of people had questions about it on the other wreaths that I posted. So all I did was cut a piece of twine, tied the burlap to the start, and that is how I started my wreath. And then this type of burlap that I use, because it's a stiffer and thicker burlap, it actually just holds its shape very nicely as I poke it through the holes. So you can see I've already started here. This is a smaller wreath frame, so for this one I'm actually just going to use 2 top and bottom rungs and push that through the wreath frame. And then if it's a 3-part one, I'll actually use the accent burlap at the same time. So I'm going to put this in afterwards since this is a smaller wreath, and I'll show you how I do that towards the end. So right now I'm just going to show you the technique that I use, because a number of people had questions about how I got it to stay and that sort of thing. But with this burlap, it's really super simple. You just punch it through, and it's thick and it's kind of textured, so it really holds its shape very nicely. So I'm just going to go around the wreath the whole way around, and I'm just punching it through and then pulling it out into a little loop. You can kind of shape it as you go, or you can go back towards the end and shape it a little bit more. I kind of just like letting it go where it wants to go, because I feel like that kind of gives it that rustic look and gives it a little bit of extra personality. So I just kind of pull it through, and then if I want to shape it a little bit towards the end, then I do that. So I'm just going to continue around the wreath, and all I'm doing is pulling it through, making sure it's the size that I want. That's the really main thing, is making sure you have enough burlap here so that there's enough burlap there whenever you shape it. And I'm just going top and bottom. I'm alternating. So I'm pushing one through the bottom little line here. So if you look at this wreath frame, there's kind of a top little opening here, a middle, and a bottom. And so for these smaller frames, what I'm going to actually do is just alternate top and bottom. And when I do the 3-tiered ones, like what my chevron wreath was, I will actually alternate all 3 at one time. Then I just go top, middle, bottom. So for this one, I'll be adding all my accents afterwards. And just pulling through, making sure that I have enough. And if you have too much, that's really easy to fix, because you can always just pull it through the back and it'll stay really nicely. So I'm just going through, alternating top and bottom all the way around, pulling it through, and I'm not going to muss with trying to shape it as I go through, because I like to do that at the end. And I'm just going to keep on going around the wreath that way. So you can see all it takes is a little push through there, pull the amount that you want, and then keep going. And I will try to remember to link all this stuff down below. But if you are interested in the burlap wreaths for the different holidays, I've made a fall one, just a basic blue one for my entry, which I'm going to turn that into a winter wreath during the winter. I'm also getting ready to work on a Christmas wreath. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that today, but I will be sure to share all those as I go along. So the great thing about the one that I'm making today is it's just going to be a basic burlap base. So you can see I'm going to add some embellishment in afterwards, but that way if I want to change it up later, I could probably change it up a little bit. But I'm just going to add the embellishments afterwards, because this is a smaller wreath. Alright, so I'm on the very last section of my fall gallery wall wreath, and I should hopefully have enough burlap. I'm on this very last section, and I have just a little bit left here on this. This was a really long strand from Walmart. This was a 5.5 inch by 30 feet. So 30 feet will approximately do 1 small wreath, and then you need a little bit over that if you're doing a medium-sized wreath. For my medium-sized wreaths, I use 2 of these ones from Hobby Lobby, and it doesn't say the size on those. So I am about finished up with my burlap edges on this. I'll go through and shape all of these after I'm done pulling the strands through. And I can also do my embellishments, like add a bow if I want. I added a really cute little hanging fall ornament, which I looked for some more of those when I was at Hobby Lobby, but they are pretty much all gone of all their fall stuff since they're getting ready for Christmas now. So I'm just going to use these little beaded embellishments and use some of the ribbon that I already had on hand. So I'm coming down to my last couple strands, And I just want to try to get these as tightly in there as I can, so that way it'll kind of cover up the seam. And you can see that it was almost perfect. I am just getting ready to run out of the burlap. So for this small size wreath frame, I used about 30 feet worth of burlap. So that'll kind of give you some idea there. And I will shape all this so you won't be able to see the wire. So this is what my little burlap wreath base is going to look like. I'm going to see if I can cram one more little section in there just to make it look as full as possible and use all of this as possible. Might as well use it all since I'm right here at the end. And there we go. So then I'm going to start working on finishing this off.